Gary Goff Show here. Our look at Tiffin University football, look back, look ahead. As we talk with head coach Gary Goff, I'm Russ Snyder, voice of the Dragons, alongside head coach Gary Goff. How are you doing today, sir?
Doing fantastic.
Big week this week, huh?
It is, like always, right?
Absolutely. Every week's a big week in the GLIAC, and every week's a big week with Tiffin University football. Let's take a look back at last week before we preview this week's game. Wayne State comes to town last week, a team who not long ago, a handful of years ago, was playing for the national championship, and Dragons looked pretty darn good in that 31-7 victory on Saturday.
Yeah, a lot of people forget just what 4 seasons ago they were playing for the national championship. But, you know, Coach Winters and his staff, I mean, they do a great job. They're a very well-coached team. He was very complimentary before and after the game, so you know it's a big win for us because that's a great program there, and it's hard to walk away with a win after playing Wayne State.
As I say, you play a team whose tailback comes in at 235, fullback at 262. That fullback was huge. You don't see that much beef in the backfield very often.
Well, you saw they broke a lot of tackles, and that was a concern. But, yeah, 2 very, very big and strong running backs.
Absolutely. Let's take a look back how the scoring went down in the game against Wayne State. First quarter, Dragons got on the scoreboard first, a 23-yard field goal following a 12-play, 75-yard drive off the leg of Tomislav Derezek, and the Dragons up 3-zip.
Yeah, great job by Tomislav putting that through. As you know, it was a very windy and wet day. We were very concerned about that all week. We had practiced snapping, handling waterlogged balls all week at practice. It was kind of funny. We had a manager sitting there, and every time the long snapper would go in and snap and Tomislav would kick, he'd have a water, and he would just douse the football as we went to snap it. But yeah, great job getting on the scoreboard right there in the opening drive, and you know, led to some great things later.
Second quarter, first quarter finishes with the Dragons up 3-0. Second quarter starts, and Antonio Pipkin finds Charles Holland on a 14-yard touchdown pass after a 5-play, 37-yard drive. Kick was good. Now the Dragons up 10-0.
What a fantastic play! I mean, there was a pass interference flag thrown on that play. You see the film, and you see that Charles, the DB had Charles' arm wrapped around his back. Wow. He dives around him in the end zone and makes a one-handed catch, and you'll see a lot of that from that young man. He's a spectacular player, but great ball placement by Pip, and that's the way we want to end drives.
An athlete making athletic plays. Charles Holland seems to do it each and every week. All right. And then also in the second quarter, the Dragons get on the scoreboard one more time after Wayne State got on the board. Dragons had a 10-7 lead. And then Antonio Pipkin goes in from 6 yards out after 11-play, 86-yard drive to close the scoring in the first half. Dragons go into the locker room up 17-7.
Yeah, really excited the way we responded right there. You know, because we scored, then we gave up a long kickoff return, put them in scoring situation, and they got on the board right there. If it wasn't for that one play right there, we might have had a shot at shutting them out. You know, but, you know, very proud of the offense, the way they responded right after that, going down and scoring again, and a great run by Pipkin.
A couple long drives in the first half, an 11-play 84-yarder and a 12-play 75-yarder. Something you got to love seeing, because also part of that means is you're controlling the clock and you're controlling the ball on the ground as well.
Yeah, and like I said, it's part of our game plan because we knew the weather was bad with the hurricane coming up the coast right there, and we knew it was going to be very, very windy. So, you know, we were not going to put the ball in the air a lot, and we knew we had to be a run heavy team right there that first half at least and see how things shook out. But offensive line did a great job taking over the game right there. Jerry Brown, Pipkin did a good job right there in that first half and getting points on the board for us.
Third quarter, a stalemate. Both teams neither one can crack the scoreboard. They get into the fourth quarter, and Antonio Pipkin finds Tony Shedd. Tony didn't have a big numbers in the game, but he did get in the end zone after a 16-yard touchdown pass from Antonio Pipkin, 7-play, 83-yard drive, and the Dragons starting to stretch it out now at 24-7.
Yeah, what a great play. It was nice to get Tony in the end zone. He's a hard-working young man that works and grinds every day at practice. He's a great receiver for us, and I was a little worried he was starting to pressure himself up because he hadn't scored yet, and his counterpart on the other side has scored several times. So, yeah, great job, great throw, great catch by him in the end zone right there, and hopefully that really just gets Tony going for the rest of the year.
Matt and I were talking before we did the show here today about our athletes on the outside. Man, they just continue to impress each and every week. Our wide receiving core, we'll take those guys over anybody. Those guys are just fantastic athletes, fantastic players as well. Final score of the game: Antonio Pipkin, a 46-yard touchdown run, part of a 5-play, 71-yard drive, and the Dragons close it out and get the victory. Another conference win, 31-7 over Wayne State.
Yeah, and like I said, a phenomenal job, especially right there in the fourth quarter. Defense did a great job. They really, they bent a little little bit, but they never broke. If it wasn't for that one breakdown of special teams right there, I really think we'd had a shutout. Offensively, they really took the game over there in the fourth quarter. I think, again, we called like something 10 or 11 straight running plays, which is, that should be a penalty in my book,
Knowing you.
Coach Gilbert's up there, run it again. And I'm like, oh, my gosh. But anyway, offensive line, they were pounding out some first downs right there. Jerry Brown was running like his hair was on fire. So really, really happy to see the way we finished the game right there offensively. If we can play like that for 4 quarters, we'll be a handful.
You brought up Jerry Brown's name. Matt and I were hoping to get a running back to get that 100-yard. We had some 100-yard games from our quarterback, Pipkin. He lights up the statistical numbers each and every week. But Jerry Brown, 26 carries for 122 yards. And as you said, that young man helped you just kind of drive that victory home in the fourth quarter.
Well, Jerry's one of those guys, too, that gets stronger as the game goes. And when you saw him running right there in the fourth quarter, he was taking some shots, he was delivering some shots. So great job by Jerry. And we say this week in, week out. But what a great young man, and he's going to be a great, great player for us, and he's only a junior. So.
Yeah, he was our Marcos Pizza offensive player of the game in that game, and then on the defensive side, we gave it to Johnny Joseph. He had that interception and a sack, and it seemed like you guys were using him on a blitz quite a bit there in the game off the corner.
Well, anytime they give us that tight end side and the nub side, as we call it, we're going to, pressure some people. So I thought Coach Edwards did a great job calling some timely blitzes right there. Johnny Joseph has played some great football early in this season. I mean, he's a tough young man. The interception he made right there in the fourth quarter was just phenomenal. What a great play right there. So very fortunate to have him, and every week I think he gets better and better.
We had to give a couple honorable mentions out for our players of the game on the defensive side of the ball too, like Jalen Randolph. That kid continues each and every week to impress, and my gosh, he just wreaks havoc on that offensive backfield every week.
Well, he's relentless.
Yes, he is.
He really gets after it. I mean, you look at him, and he's not this big stature defensive lineman, but he is a great, great player, plays with a lot of passion, a lot of heart, and that's why he's having such a great year. I think he's 3rd or 4th in the conference right now with 4.5 sacks, which is amazing.
Seems like 8 or 9 tackles a game. Seems like he's getting every week as well. Some of the numbers that stood out to me last week, we doubled up Wayne State in both passing yards and rushing yards, doubled them up in first downs. And then, Antonio Pipkin, kind of a ho-hum game, but 325 total yards and 4 touchdowns. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah, we're used to seeing the 400 to 600-yard games. I hear you there. I saw the stats myself. I was like, Pip did a pretty good job. When you look at his numbers across the nation, you're like, he did a fantastic job.
No doubt. And you got to say congratulations to Pedro Correa right now as well, leading the conference in receiving yards a game, and he just – from the moment he's got him, we can talk about how good of a kid he is. We talk about it all the time. We call him the mayor, but he's really stepping it up on the football field as well.
We've had a lot of fun with him this season. I tell you, he's our only 5th-year senior we've got. He was part of that first recruiting class. We only had 3 weeks to throw.
I saw a picture he put up on social media when he was a freshman too.
At practice this week, one of the kids asked him, he said, "Hey, Pedro, are these practice jerseys? They were your game jerseys the first year." And it was true. So everybody's dying laughing. We call him the mayor because he's been here so long, but he's a very, very hard worker. He has paid his dues, so it's exciting to see him have the kind of season he's having.
Absolutely. Well, step up in competition this week. Probably the toughest team the Dragons have seen so far. I mean, nationally ranked in the top 5 in the country. Ferris State, a wild one last week over at Findlay, 42-39. But the Findlay fans are getting their money's worth in these games that they're getting over there. But Ferris State, Jason Vanderlaan, the defending Harlan Hill Trophy winner, defending player of the year in our conference, and he does it all for this offense.
Yeah, they're 3rd in the Division II poll. They're number 1 in this college football computer rankings poll, and it's not by accident. They are a great, great program. Vanderlaan, everybody knows about. He is 222 yards away from being the all-time leading rusher in all divisions of football as a quarterback. He's carried the ball 82 times this year already in just 4 games, and he's 6'4", 245.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a very, very good player. But he's not the only piece of the puzzle there. Their offensive line's very good. They got some receivers that are dangerous. On the defensive side, their defensive line is the best defensive line maybe in the country, but definitely in the GLIAC. They are very, very strong. They run. They're very athletic. And then their secondary's got a lot of experience at both corners. So, yeah, we'll have our hands full. But our message this week is let's go out and be in attack mode for 4 quarters. Let's see how good we can play after play, and see where the cards fall afterwards. But, we deserve a right to be in this game as well. And that's kind of our message to the guys all week.
Well, the Dragons taking on Ferris State this weekend at home, and it's Community Day. So anyone in the community, you can come out to the game, and you can get into this game free as charged. So get out there, wear your green and gold, and help support Tiffin. Because I was talking to some friends of mine, this maybe the highest quality Division II football game between two opponents ever, or the highest quality college football game ever to play in Tiffin, Ohio, when you look at the quality of opponents on the field.
I have no idea.
I think so. I've watched a lot of football in this town, a lot of college football, and to have a top 5 team in the country come in with the Dragons coming in with only 1 loss on their record. So this should be a fantastic matchup. And a game that really, I think the first quarter is going to tell the tale in this game. If we can, last year they jumped up on us early, and it was hard, too big of a hole to climb out of. But, if we can end this first quarter tied or a small lead or something like that, then who knows? Throw it all in and see what happens.
Right. Last year we lost Brandon Person there in the first quarter.
Yep.
And he was kind of our big, motivational captain on the team. And it was a helmet to helmet, but the receiver, when he caught it, the receiver ducked his head, and Brandon still hit him in the helmet, not on purpose at all, but it's just one of those bang-bang calls that didn't go our way. And so he was kicked out of the game, so we sat there kind of starstruck for a second, and then a few self-inflicted wounds right off the bat, and the game got away from us early. And, we got to do what we've been doing all year, and that's just playing some good football. And one play at a time, and we'll be okay. But you're right. I mean, we can't let it get away early. If we do, it's going to be hard to get back in the game with these guys.
Well, you mentioned their defensive line, probably the best in the conference and not in the country. And Matt and I were talking earlier about how well our offensive line has really played this year. I mean, we're not as deep as some of the other schools in the country. We're deeper than we have been in the past. But our offensive line has been doing a bang-up job so far this year.
Well, we were excited about them coming into the season. And I tell you, from game 1 of the season to now, all 5 of them have gotten better, and it's fun to see Azell, Max, Mason, all of them get better each week, and they're working hard, and they're hungry. So that's what's fun about it.
You need a little bit of a mean streak in you as well as playing offensive line, don't you?
Oh, Castorina. Oh, you got to have that.
I knew you were going to go
perfect
there.
At that.
I knew you were going to go there. As I said, the game starts at 1:30 this Saturday at Frost Cowanal Stadium. We'll be on the air at Coast Country 100.9 and at tudragonradio.com at 1 o'clock p.m. with our pregame show. And Coach, Tomislav continues to do the job on the kicking the ball. Breban is doing a real nice job punting the ball. And then you also get one out of Antoni every once in a while. What did that one get down at, inside the 1-yard line?
For us, that's supposed to be a secret, but now it's over.
Other teams can see film as well, Coach.
Right. No, we work on that all the time. And, as our offense is out there, and if we see something, we're going to go for it. If not, Pipkin pooches it down the field, and we got a great bounce right there. The offensive guys did a great job covering the punt and down it inside the 1. So maybe we can get more of that.
It's been fun to see the Dragons play complete 3-level football all year long so far. Defense is ranked right there towards the top of the conference with points per game and yards per game given up. The offense continues to light up the scoreboard, and Tomislav has been National Player of the Week, twice been Conference Player of the Week, and the punting game has been pretty consistent this year. So just saying, it's nice to be seeing good, consistent 3-part football played by the Dragons.
It has been. Very proud of these guys. They come to work every day trying to get better. That's what it's all about, and we're having a lot of fun right now. So we need to do the same thing Saturday and see.
Come down and have some fun with us Saturday 1:30, and the Dragons take on the Ferris State Bulldogs. Coach, thank you so much for your time. I know you got a very busy day today. You got to continue to get these kids ready for the game on Saturday, but go get them. We'll do it again next week.
Hey, thanks.
He's Gary Goff. I'm Russ Snyder, and this has been the Gary Goff Show.